When I was 4 years old, my mum bought me a Superman costume, the one with the cape flying behind. One day, I decided to wear it in my living room. I climbed up a few steps of the staircase, turned around, raised up my hands, bent my knees, and I leapt into the air. Thud! I landed on the floor with a bleeding nose. Because of this mischievous act, my mom decided to put me into gymnastic classes so that I can be as mischievous as I want to be in a safe environment. Along the way, I got better in the sport and started to represent my country, Singapore, in competitions at the age of 7 years old. And at 9 years old, I started to train in China so that I can get better at the sport to be able to participate in the Olympics. The methodology of training then was to imbue fear. It was a method that has been working for centuries to produce champions. By the use of fear, we had no choice but to do our very best during training sessions. Unfortunately, there was no adult to process the fear and confusing emotions that I was experiencing as a child. I internalized the fear, emotions, and expectations. Whenever I felt I had failed in some ways during training, I would blame myself for being useless, and I would bang my head against the wall to numb the pain and fear. Into my adulthood, I changed my career from being a sports person to a violin teacher and performer. As an adult, I never knew I developed a mental health condition until I had serious suicidal thoughts. And my husband encouraged me to seek professional help. I was 37 years old. Through my therapy sessions with my psychiatrist, I learned how to manage my thoughts and emotions, my quality of life, and my relationships with my loved ones and friends improved so much that I became so much happier. And I thought, if more people could experience this happiness, wouldn't that be great? My name is Eileen Chai, and my life goal now, in whatever I do, is to give through music. So my husband and I decided to create a music social cause. We call it the 3 a.m. Music Collective. The music that we create is to give hope and show empathy to people with troubled minds. By collaborating with musicians of different ethnicities, age groups, so as to create music of different genres. Based on the principle of giving through music, the music has to help people. So we needed to do some planning, set some structures and directions on how we were going to approach this project. Some of the considerations were based on experience backed up with research. Now, the day that I wanted to walk off the face of this earth, it dawned upon me that I do need to seek help. But it was still difficult for me to accept that I had a condition. I could not fathom the idea that our brains could be, rewired. Our brain is not like a computer CPU. We cannot fix it or swap our brains with someone else's. And even after my diagnosis by my doctor, well, I did acknowledge that I had a problem, but I still did not believe that there could be a solution. I could not see how I could ever see the light of hope that one day I will recover. But what I didn't know for sure was that I wanted to recover so that I no longer say hurtful words to my loved ones and to the people around me. And in order to do that, I needed to take action to do my homework as guided and instructed by my psychiatrist so that I can recover. So we thought the outcome we would like to see when people hear the music from 3 a.m. Music Collective are the 3 A's. The 3 A's are, first, is to accept that we have a condition and we need to seek help. Second, is to acknowledge that even if we may have a problem, there is a solution. Third is to take action so that we can recover. But how are we going to use the music to deliver the 3 A's? So what we did was we created 10 songs, and these 10 songs run like a story that showcases the social, psycho, emotional journey of a person going through a mental health condition like depression and anxiety. Now the story. The story starts with a happy pop song to depict a happy-go-lucky kid. But soon, in his childhood, he sees his parents arguing. He blames himself. He feels lost. Along the way, he is confused with what's happening around him, with no adult to explain why his parents are always arguing. He gets frustrated and angry with himself and the people around him. And this is described in a heavy metal song. Now the child grows up and finds out that he has depression. But he continues to struggle to accept that he has a condition. And this is showcased in a classical fusion piece. As time passes, he acknowledges that although he has a problem, but there is a solution, as depicted in an electropop song. And at the end of the day, he survives through this ordeal to celebrate life, and he's grateful for the people who have helped him. These are described in a Mandarin pop song and an anthemic song. But we also wanted to ensure that each song can stand on its own. Each of the music or songs has to give hope and show empathy to people with troubled minds. For example, one would not usually associate a heavy metal song to be inspiring or hopeful, but we made sure that the lyrics of the chorus of this heavy metal called Silver Lining gives hope. The lyrics include, "The darkness of these demons, my silver lining will cast them away." Even at 3 a.m., when we are feeling down, the music will make us jump up and say, "Tomorrow is a new day." So, what was the impact of the 10 songs? Well, for musicians who were already going through some form of mental health condition, with the music that they have created, the music has given them a voice. Through music, they were able to, firstly, create awareness and acceptance of mental health conditions. Secondly, to remove the stigma attached to it, so that those suffering can get the help they need without fear or shame. As for musicians who do not have a mental health condition, when they were involved with the 3M Music Collective project, they got to understand what we were going through, and they developed empathy for us. For the public who heard the music, they've sent us messages telling us how the music has touched their hearts and uplifted their spirits, and that they realize that they are not alone. Members of the public have also requested to talk to us, as they just want to have a listening ear. At this point, I would like to highlight that none of us from the 3M Music Collective are trained counselors. So anyone who has spoken to us, we've only listened with an empathetic ear. And we continue to encourage them without dishing out advices. So if you'd like to listen to all the 10 songs, or the 10-song story, or some of the interviews that we've done, you can hear them on our YouTube channel, 3M Music Collective. Our music can also be heard on Spotify. Now, 3M Music Collective continues to help and make an impact in the lives of people through music. For example, 3M Music Collective has been included in the online resources of the Association of Music Therapy in Singapore and a government agency called the National Volunteer and Philanthropy Centre, where their fully integrated online portal is called the Ground Up Central. So with these online resources, because of these online resources, members of the public have contacted us for help. Either to just talk to us, play music together, or compose music together. This has given them a way to express themselves through music making. Emotions are evoked, it's cathartic, and by the end of the day, you see a smile. Yeah, even when I'm talking about this, sometimes it brings tears because you see their real life journey going through. And that's how amazing music can be to heal our soul. 3M Music Collective had also collaborated with the National Council of Social Service with support from the National Youth Council. Well, both of these are government agencies. And we were very lucky that 27 of the 3M Music Collective artists performed at the annual Beyond the Label Festival in 2020. Beyond the Label Festival, or rather, Beyond the Label, is a movement to address mental health stigmas so as to create a more inclusive society. The virtual festival raised awareness of mental health and rallied the public to fight against mental health stigma. You can still watch the virtual concert on YouTube and Facebook of Beyond the Label. We've also collaborated with the National University of Singapore to share with tertiary students through podcasts and live face-to-face sessions to discuss the role of music on mental health and wellness. 3M Music Collective continues to be involved in talks and dialogues. There's one coming up early this year. We'll be discussing the importance of music for mental health and wellness from different perspectives. And as artists, we continue to perform 3M Music Collective music virtually to give hope and show empathy to people with troubled minds. You can follow us of our activities on Facebook and Instagram. Now, next, my other music social cause called the Strings for Kindness. It's a ground-up movement of the Singapore Kindness Movement. It's a non-government, non-profit organization to inspire graciousness with one kind act at a time. Strings for Kindness is about empowering the young minds and bring kindness to the people through music. How do we do that? How do we empower our youth through music? Empowerment, in my own words, is the process to becoming more confident and to have the luxury of choices to carry out a desired activity. We then need to provide we as adults, as educators, we need to provide the platform and opportunities to give the young ones a leg up to learn so that they are empowered in time to come. Allow me to illustrate this through a story. Well, this story actually consists of snippets of real-life examples. Imagine that there is this young violinist called Zara. In pre-COVID times, Zara would attend her Strings for Kindness rehearsals to prepare for her performances. At the rehearsals, she learns about teamwork, empathy, and of course, kindness and showing graciousness to one another. How? Being a newbie, she was still learning the ropes of being part of an ensemble. She recalled once when she forgot to bring her pencil to make markings on her music score. Her friend shared stationeries with her with a kind smile. Another time, she accidentally played a wrong note during the rehearsal. But no one judged her, nor gave her an eye for playing the wrong note. Instead, as I said, this is a true story. Instead, another violinist encouragingly said, "It's okay, let's try again." Everyone displayed empathy for one another and encouraged each other to play better the next time. The kind actions, empathy, and encouragement displayed by her senior violinists and friends taught her what kindness was all about. Then there was an occasion when a friend left her music scores at home. So Zara, kindly shared her scores with her friends as well. Zara realized that her thoughts and actions are now filled with kindness and graciousness. She was beginning to passing it forward. Joining Strings for Kindness had given her a new perspective on how she can use opportunities during music playing and performances to pass forward kindness to the community. She was very happy that she has a platform and opportunities to give through music. And most importantly, she now has a confidence and she can make her own creative choices on how she uses music to give. she has created an avenue for herself to feel empowered through music. With the COVID-19 and pandemic, our plans may have been slightly stalled though, because we can no longer carry out that many rehearsals due to the restrictions in numbers at a venue. But we continue to do whatever we can as the world needs more kindness more than ever. We continue to provide platforms and give opportunities for the young violinists and string players to perform. During rehearsals and sound checks before a performance, we adults and educators lead by example on kindness and graciousness. For instance, we approach the sound and light crew to thank them for making the rehearsals and sound checks successful, and the young ones follow suit and learn. As we engage in more performances, the young string players begin to display kindness to the people around them on their own accord. In time, hopefully they'll discover how music has given them a different set of voice that they can use to create choices that they never knew that they had. So not only will they feel empowered, but they will also have the power to pass forward this new strength of empowerment to other people. Now, moving forward with the social causes. During the time when I had my therapy sessions with my psychiatrist, I actively did a lot of research and asked a lot of questions as well. And we discovered that my adverse childhood experiences, the scores, in short, ACE, my score was very high. An ACE score is a tally of different types of abuse, neglect, and other hallmarks of a rough childhood. The rougher your childhood, the higher your score is likely to be, and the higher your risk for later health problems. Health problems like anxiety and depression. Now, all children should be happy and healthy. A child's early experiences exert a tremendous influence on how their brain is going to be constructed and on their behavioral patterns. Strong childhood foundations thus go a long way towards helping children to fulfill their potential to lead productive lives in future. And it all begins with building mental health as a child. Mental health in childhood, what does it mean? It means that we should strive for children, firstly, to reach certain developmental and emotional milestones. Secondly, to learn healthy social skills. And thirdly, to learn to cope when there are problems. So I started to tweak a little in the way I teach my students during violin, viola, and music theory lessons. So during lesson time, I use music as a medium to help children and youths. First, to understand love, so that they feel safe and secure with themselves, so that they can build self-confidence and even resilience over time. Second, to learn communications better, so that they can express and articulate their feelings, to manage their emotions better, which will lead to positive attitudes and behaviors later in life. Thirdly, to foster empathy, so that there is good social and emotional growth of the child, which can lead to good relationship building skills in later life, where having a good relationship with people is an element of creating happiness for oneself. So I named this curriculum the Music Sparkle SG. Now let's say we take a look at the musical journey of Zara, the violinist again. Let's say Zara has taken music lessons with Music Sparkle SG and is now a teenager. As a teenager, she now has developed social and emotional skills, who can articulate her feelings well. She has a good sense of security and confidence of herself. She has developed her innate resilience to cope when problem arises. And she now wants to find opportunities to give through music. She now joins the Strings Kindness, not only to bring kindness to the community through music, but also to experience empowerment. In time to come, to pass forward this new form of strength, of empowerment to others. Now, Zara grows up and is now a youthful and dynamic young lady in the university at 20 years old. She wants to create her own music now, to give music in her own way. At this juncture of her life, she has grown to be a confident youth, has been giving through music with the Strings for Kindness, and feels empowered in her life in more ways than one. So now she wants to use all her developed skills and knowledge and life lessons learned to create her own brand of music to give love to others. So she joins 3 AM Music Collective, where she uses music to tell stories with an empathetic feel, as she wanted people out there to understand that a person suffering from a mental health condition do want to recover, but it's a tough journey ahead. She endeavors to foster empathy amongst the community so as to reduce the stigmatism that sufferers have to endure. Now, Zara continues to grow up, and she has grown up now and is now a beautiful young adult of 30 years old. She has a successful career carved out, but due to her time commitment to work, she has stopped creating music. She just didn't have the time and energy to do it anymore. The last time she has created original music was years ago when she was with 3M Music Collective. And now she wants to bring music back into her life. So she joins the Violin Travels. Now, this Violin Travels is a new music group that we have just created, and we had our first performance at the Singapore's Victoria Concert Hall at a recent arts festival. The Violin Travels endeavors to travel around the world to explore new ideas so as to uplift our spirits, to bring joy, happiness, and love to the people around the world. Especially with this Black Swan events of COVID-19, it has taken a toll on a lot of people mentally. So this music band is to make people happy with music. Then as Zara grows a little older, so would her parents. For her parents, our seniors, especially during this COVID-19 times, their daily schedule has been greatly disrupted. So a new curriculum has been created for the seniors. This curriculum is called the Silver Ever Bright curriculum. This curriculum integrates physical activities, music and art through musical storytelling of their beautiful memories. The seniors will create their own stories from their memories so as to empower, engage, and evolve them for healthy aging, both mentally and physically. Well, this curriculum is still at its infancy stage though, so I can't really share much. But if you'd like to know its developments, you can either go to my website chai360.com.sg or email me at chai360sg@gmail.com to keep track. Now in conclusion, from the Music Sparkle SG, Strings for Kindness, 3M Music Collective, the Violin Travels, the Silver Ever Bright, a music ecosystem has been created, and I call it the Chai 360 Music Ecosystem. This ecosystem is to empower and uplift the spirits of children, youth, adults, and seniors so as to bring joy, happiness, and love to the people around us. Hope this sharing has sparked some ideas in all of you, or if you find that there are areas that we can actually improve on, please let us know. There's so much of room for exploration and improvement. And now, the Strings for Kindness and the Violin Travels will perform for you a happy original instrumental composed by the Violin Travels called Everything is Possible. Everything is possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Eileen. What a joy to be able to hear some of the music that you're making out there in Singapore. That was so fun. As a music therapist and someone who works with youth and in mental health, I know how important music is with that particular demographic. Thank you for sharing. Well, I can't believe it, but we are up to the last panel of the day. Incredible. We have a whole nother day of programming tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. As Grant alluded to earlier, our next panel is going to be about all ages venues.